Welcome to OC Dub's YouTube channel. I own a Sym 300i CityCom scooter. I noticed when I started my scooter, gasoline was dripping out the bottom of it. The tools I used were two screwdrivers, a flathead, a Phillips head, a ratchet, 10mm socket, and a 5/16 socket. Right, here's one of the first steps you want so you can start viewing where your problem is. You have one screw and then gently move this panel off once you remove that screw, what you saw in the previous picture. Be careful, these are plastic and they're cheap and they're really easy to break, so just gently pull it off as you pull a screw. Now you're going to see two other screws there. You want to loosen that panel but not take it off. Don't pull on it too hard or you'll break it and it'll cause you too much trouble. So here's an example of what you want to do, and then your next step I'll show you. You're going to want to release, there's 6 bolts, or there's screw heads or bolts, whichever you want to use. You can use the 10mm or a screwdriver and release those to pull out your seat. That'll show you in the next frame. But this helps you view where your leak is, so you want to pull this off. That'll help you a lot. You have one more shot of that panel where you loosen, take out the other screws, but don't take that panel off, just loosen it up. All right, now we're going to open up the seat. Here's the first 2 screws or bolts you pull off. Then the next frames will show you the middle ones. There's each a screw and then a ratchet on each side of that camera. That's the middle ones. You pull those 2 off. There's 6 total. So here's a little ratchet shot of what it'll look like as you're pulling it out. Then the next are at the very front. You'll see that's where the brain is and above the battery. And here's a little socket at the front. Those 6 are what you do to remove the seat. Important step, set the seat sideways, don't take it off. There's a little green wire, you see that you must unplug that first. And then you'll see where you press the tab in, pull it apart before you take the seat and remove the seat. That's really important or you'll rip your wires. Important step. So just unplug it gently and then pull the seat all the way off. There's a little rubber ratchet, pull the rubber down and the rubber strap will come off. Then you can set the battery out to the side. You'll see a plastic holding case for the battery. There's 3 little bolts. That's like that 5/16, or just feel a millimeter socket in there and pull that out. I have the super strong fingers, so I pulled it out with my fingers. Then when you get to that, you can set the battery to balance. You have 4 more bolts, which are 10mm, to pull out and unscrew. See, I'm moving the battery here. But then you got to pull that plate off to open up where your carburation fuel injection system is, so you can look at kind of where everything is before you have to go to your next steps. Now you've moved this battery over to the other side. Don't disconnect it. Start taking off that metal plate. There's 4 10mm bolts. Set it over to the side because you have another step you have to do next. Now your next, as you see, you bring the seat back, set it sideways, and plug it back into the computer. Make sure everything's clear and out of the way. Get a flashlight, fire up your engine, and locate that leak. Locate where this is where you can see. You have to run it. This is the only way I can find it to run, is to plug in the brain again and then run my engine. And I was able to find my leak, and I'm going to show you really quick. And now I've unplugged it after I've found my leak, where I found my leak and what I did. So I've unplugged it. I found my leak, and here's where my leak was, above that plate where you couldn't get to it. So here's a halo photograph that shows you where it is. So it'll kind of give you an idea if you have the same issue on your Sym CityCom 300i. And here it is again. I took a screwdriver and I tightened it up. And then I'm going to have to go through this step again. I'm going to have to put the seat back on after I've tightened this up. Here I go again. I'm going to set it, I'm going to run it and make sure I don't have a leak anymore, or if there's any more leaks or any split hoses. So I checked that. It all came out really good. Saved me a ton of money from repairs to do all this. So I reversed all the steps. I put everything back together, those 4 bolts, put the plastic battery holder back in with the 4 little like 5/16 bolts, lined it all up, screwed those all in, reversed all those steps that I just told you to do, and then I put it all together, lined it up really carefully. Here I am putting the seat. Remember the 6 bolts for that one. And then I fired it up and test drove it, and it worked fantastic. So I saved myself a nice gob of money. If you like my videos about my little repairs, join our webpage, subscribe to it, like it. It's OCDOVES, OC Doves. Subscribe to us, and thanks for watching.